Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I am here with finals of DDL. This is going to be a multi-part video because I'm on the winner's side of finals. So if I lose this game, I will go into losers finals, and then I have to win that game to make it to grands. And if I win this game, I have a week of a bye, kind of, or an off week, while the loser side plays, and I would play the winner of that game, which would be, assuming I win this game, Frozone versus Boots. So we're facing Frozone in finals, winners finals, and I don't hate my matchup for this game. I definitely like it more than my matchup against Boots. So really hoping to win this one, and then to see Frozone in grand finals. I would hate to lose this game and have to face Boots, and I would hate to win this game and have to face Boots in grand finals. I think my matchup against him is far, far worse. But anyways, we're facing Frozone here. We see Terra Ghost Annihilate, and not a ton of surprises outside of that. There's a Corviknight that was on the bench that I thought looked pretty good. It's one of the premier fairy resists on my opponent's team, although they do also have Slowking Galar, which helps out quite a bit as well. There's also a Baxcalibur, which I think looks solid into my team. It's faster than a lot. It has its base 87 speed, is just barely faster than Glamora and Samurott, and considerably faster than Sinistra as well. So two good Pokemon that I think reasonably could have shown up, and then there's some lower tier mons, Typhlosion and Raichu, which I didn't really see coming. Maybe Typhlosion. Anyways, here's the game. Seismitoad lead into my Glamora. Not exactly what I want to see. I don't have Energy Ball on this set, but they don't know that, so they might scout for it. I'm going to click Toxic here. I am Corrosion. So if I Toxic this as they get up Rocks or they click Surf, it's not incredible for me, but it would still be nice to just Toxic this, especially to wear it down. They're only switching to Scarf V Create from Victini. I guess I should go over my team. I am Booster Special Attack, Calm Mind, Valiant, with Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Vacuum Wave, which is the exact set I wanted to bring into these 6. I was really torn between Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt. Shadow Ball hits Glowking, Thunderbolt hits Corv. So seeing that no Corv and there is a Glowking, really happy with my coverage choices here. If I get a little bit of chip on like Aerodactyl, then Calm Mind Val, I can kind of just OHKO everything on the team. Obviously I need to be chip down Aerodactyl so it dies to Vacuum Wave. But if I can make it take like a round or 2 of Rocks, that helps a lot. Or if it has to take a V-Create at one point, it helps a lot. Anyways, I just look Toxic this turn. I didn't go over the rest of my team. Iron Treads, Shuka Berry, 4 attacks. Sinistra, Terra Steel, Calm Mind, 3 attacks. Annihilate, their Annihilate was Terra Ghost, by the way. This is really disorganized, it's late, can you tell? Glamora, Air Balloon, Fizz Def with Rocks, Toxic, Sludge Wave, and Dazzling Gleam. Victini's Scarf, V-Create, Bolt Strike, Energy Ball for the Seismitoad, and U-Turn. And then Samurott is SD Life Orb, which we'll see shortly. Anyways, I just click Toxic. I do get the Glowking to come in. Great, it's going to help wear this thing down a little bit. Obviously, it can regen off all the health, but puts it on a bit of a timer if it's trying to like set up with my Sinistra. I get my Rocks up as they chilly out. Fantastic start for me. I've lost virtually nothing, and I've got my Rocks up and Toxic to Glowking, and they don't really have that much to go into anyways. They could have gone Grand and click Water Move, which would have been awkward for sure, but they actually opt to go into Annihilate instead, which I was surprised by. I just look Toxic here. Maybe they want to start bulking up, I'm not sure. It is U-Turn. Tells me they're probably Choice Scarf. I don't think you would bring U-Turn on any other Annihilate set. And seeing as their Terra goes, I'm thinking, okay, this thing is certainly Choice Scarf. I Toxic, they go Glowking, that's totally fine. And here is where I think I make one of my, I don't know if I should call it one of my best plays in draft, but I think it is very likely a Chilly Reception is coming out here. And now that I lost my Balloon, the ground types can come in and click Earthquake on me a lot more comfortably. Ground types as in the Pokemon with ground type moves. My obvious switch into the Slowking is Iron Treads. I have quite a bit of Spadef. It's mostly just here to switch into Slowking and Clefable. So it's really easy for me to just go into Iron Treads on this thing. And I can't really touch it with my Glimmora. And if I stay in, then I just do nothing and they chilly out. But if I go into Iron Treads, they also just chilly out and they can get in Gren, which I really hate switching into Gren. So instead, I predict the chilly reception and go hard into Samurott here. And I've warranted this play by, okay, if they have a Psychic move, they could click it here. Samurott also covers that. So that is why I went into Samurott here. They do end up chilly receptioning, and this puts them in a bit of a more awkward spot. It kind of wants them to, okay, bring in their Fizdef Clef, a lot more comfortable for me to switch into. I can just bring back in Glimmora. We also do see that this Slowking is Boots, by the way. Or if they bring in an offensive mon, like maybe Seismitoad, I can just SD on that. Or just attack. They go Annihilate. By best play in draft, I mean this sequence. That one switch into Samurott was nice, but nothing crazy. Nobody is clicking Fighting move here. I have a Sinistcha. Your choice, Scarf. There's no world that Close Combat is getting clicked this turn. If you lock into Close Combat into my Sinistcha, I think it puts you really far behind in this game. I think you're clicking U-turn. Because U-turn also does a lot of damage to Samurott, and it would position you well in front of Sinistcha. So, I click Swords Dance this turn. If they make a mid-ground and click Terra Blast Ghost, that's fine. If they click Rage Fist, that's fine. I'm certain that Close Combat is not getting clicked this turn. And indeed it does not. U-turn gets clicked, in comes Seismitoad as I Swords Dance. Seizes Edge, if this is absolute max Fizdef, is a 25% chance to kill. If they have any amount of speed or bulk in special defense or any offense, this just drops. So I am just going to click Seizes Edge. And indeed, they drop. They are Helmet though, and I take Life Orb, so I take a lot of damage. They actually ended up being max Fizdef, so I got very lucky with that roll there. But now I have Rocks up and a Spike. They have no removal, unless they're Defog Mega Arrow. I think it has that, but I don't think they're going to be that. I have a +2 Samurott, and what are they going to? Maybe they have Water Shuriken on Gren, but otherwise I'm getting a Sucker Punch off on one of their fast mons, or I'm getting a huge Razor Shell off on one of their, I think I have Aqua Cut for this game actually, into one of their bulkier mons. And now, besides Seismitoad being dead, they really don't have a V-Create switch in. I think I pretty much won the game in this moment by killing Seismitoad already and having these hazards up to really pressure their offensive mons. They go into Greninja, which makes sense. I'm very much expecting a Water Shuriken here, but I'm never going to click any other play besides the Sucker Punch. And I killed them. They didn't know I had Sucker Punch, so I think that's a reasonable enough play to make. And Water Shuriken also could have been a roll. If they were just Life Orb, I think 2 hits wouldn't have killed me here. I have quite a lot of Spadef on this Samurott. I'm quite slow. And now they go into Clef, because they obviously cannot risk taking another Sucker Punch on Aerodactyl or Annihilate. If this is Magic Guard Fizdef, they take 94% minimum. So very likely that I just kill them here. And we do see them not take hazards, so I'm thinking they're probably Magic Guard. But they actually end up being a really interesting set. They took 80%, which tells me they're unaware. So they're Boost unaware. But they also took so much damage, so it tells me they're not Fizdef at all. Which is good to know. Which them not being Fizdef means that Victini kills. So I go into Victini. I'm Choice Scarf, but they don't know that. I could be Choice Band, I could be Boots for all they know. I click V-Create. Here comes Aerodactyl, and at this point, my opponent kind of just has to go for game. Their other option was go into Annihilate and click Terra Blast Ghost, which is unresisted, and they would be faster than me because I've lost my speed. And I think that would be a pretty solid play as well. I think I probably would have just gone hard into Glimmora though. Seeing Aerodactyl come in, I know I have a very, very comfortable switch into Sinistcha. They could click Dual Wing Beat here and kill me, although I don't even think they kill me. But They do a lot of damage, but that's fine. I still have my Shuckaberry Iron Treads in the back. Um, I think at +1, an Aqua Tail could kill me, but assuming they're just Earthquake, which I think is also pretty reasonable. Although Flying plus Water move does hit pretty much my entire team. But Iron Heads can just Iron Head, and then Vacuum Wave will clean that up. So feeling pretty comfortable, but DD is a little scary. Um, but the thing is that if I go Sinistra and they die, or Sinistra dies, they're never really going to be able to Dragon Dance, which means Victini is faster and can kill them with Bolt Strike. So pretty much never going to lose this thing. If it clicks Dragon Dance, I just go Sinistra, Terra Steel, I'm Shuckaberry, I live at every hit. So a very, very safe play of going Sinistra here. I think my loose con is missing Bolt Strike in front of Aerodactyl. They do Dragon Dance, totally fine. I can just Terra Steel. They do predict that. Click Earthquake, it doesn't matter. Earthquake does tank that, and then go down to Terra Blast. In comes Annihilate, but this is Terra Ghost. I feel very comfortable just clicking Terra Blast Ghost here. At this point in the game, V-Create pretty much wins, assuming they're Scarf. V-Create would kill Annihilate because they're Terra Ghost, and then Slowking certainly cannot beat my last Pokemon. They click Rage Fist, I Shadow Ball, and take them out. I think another play I could have made is going Glamora in front of this Annihilate, but just on the very small off chance that they weren't Choice Scarf and they were some kind of setup set, I wanted to prevent that with Sinistra. Glamora is absolutely useless into the Slowking, except for maybe being able to take a few hits. So I could have gone Glamora, but if there's some kind of bulk up set and they were faster than me, which they very likely were, I have no speed on Glamora. Maybe I had a little bit, I don't remember. Anyways, all that to say, Annihilate goes down, in comes Slowking, and I decide to preserve differential and go into my Iron Treads. I click Earthquake, which doesn't actually kill, but it doesn't matter. Even if they have Flamethrower, it doesn't really impact anything. And Glamora gets that kill from the Toxic. So a very, very comfortable win in finals here. So we move on to Grand Finals, and I'm going to end up playing the winner of Frozone and Spoots. Certainly enjoy my matchup more into Frozone, but it will also be a back-to-back rematch, so that's a little awkward. Whereas Spoots I didn't face since week 3 of the regular season, and he's made changes to his team since then. So it would be very much a new game. I guess now's a good time to mention there's a prize for winning this whole thing. I believe it was 250 USD, but I'm just getting that confirmed. And I said to Spoods, if we make it to finals, let's split the pot. So if Spoods makes it to finals, I get a guaranteed 125 USD, that is. Whereas if Frozone makes it to finals, there's no guarantee. I did not make that deal with him. So it's kind of a win-win to me. If Spoods makes it, I get guaranteed money. If Frozone makes it, I have a better matchup. So let's see what happens. Here's Grand Finals. Surprise, it's Frozone again. A bit of a different team coming from him, a very similar team coming from me. The same 6 in the same order, but I did change some sets. So the differences from my opponent here, we see Corviknight and Baxcalibur instead of Glowking and Seismitoad. What does this mean? It means I'm very glad I changed my Val set. I have Thunderbolt now. I changed my entire Val set. I'm now Life Orb with Moonblast, Vacuum Wave, Thunderbolt for Corv, and Knockoff for Glowking. So I no longer have Calm Mind, I'm no longer Booster, so I can use Val as a breaker throughout the game as opposed to an endgame cleaner. But depending on the matchup, it could certainly clean up endgame as well. Just looking at the Pokemon on my opponent's team, the slower things die, except for Cliff, and Corv can live, but not comfortably. And then the faster things don't love taking Vacuum Wave and Hazards, so if they can get worn down, Life Orb Val can certainly clean the game. Mostly going to need damage on that Clefable though. Iron Tread's very similar set. I just put rocks on it because I changed Glamora. I actually took off Earthquake from Treads. I didn't think Earthquake was necessary into the matchup. Iron Head looked way better into the Aerodactyl plus Clefable. I do still have Volt Switch for the Corv. Sinistra, exact same set. Glamora is Rock Polish, Meteor Beam with Power Herb. Victini, I took off U-Turn and added Encore because I realize with this version of the team that I'm bringing, very, very weak to a Cosmic Power Clefable. So having Encore on my Victini is going to help a little bit with that, although it's still awkward because I'm Encoring it and then I'm locked into Encore, so I have to switch. And then they can just keep setting up, and I can't really punish that. And then Samurai is totally different, a little more Spadef, not so much attack. I'm Citrus Berry now with 4 attacks. No Swords Dance. I didn't think that was going to work again. I'm leading Sinister this time. I think it leads very well into the 6 Pokemon on my opponent's team. I think Gren and Annihilate are the worst leads, but I feel very comfortable leading into Aerodactyl, Clefable, Corviknight, and Baxcalibur. Lead Sinistra. Opponent leads Greninja. I should mention their Terra Water on Annihilate this time, so I'm expecting a bulkier setup set this time and not Choice Scarf. Gren leads. I'm picking its Choice Scarf based on the lead. I'm going to Terra this turn. I can't just risk dying to Dark Pulse. Specs Dark Pulse would not kill me, so assuming a Terra. If I get flinched, it's a very bad spot for me. But if they do just Dark Pulse, I can Matcha Gotcha and do a lot of damage. And anything they switch into risks getting burnt by Matcha. They go Corv. I Terra Steel. Matcha does some good damage. 8% reveals that they are not Spadef, which is really good for Val. It means Thunderbolt is comfortably to a KOing, whereas if they're max Spadef with leftovers, I think Thunderbolt can sometimes not to a KO. It also means that after a decent bit of chip, they just die to Thunderbolt, such as a Shadow Ball. I thought a lot about clicking Shadow Ball this turn, but I really hated the idea of Gren coming in on my Shadow Ball for free. I also hated the idea of taking a Body Press. I don't want to take so much damage on the Sinistra, so I'm going to go Victini. It covers Body Press, and it covers Gren a little bit, because it kind of forces Gren to click a stab move, which lets me bring in Samurai. I go Victini, as they actually just opt U-turn, which I thought my opponent would not make that play, because if I just Shadow Ball as the U-turn, now your Corv is at 65 or 70%, which is really nice for my team. It means you can't switch into Samurai quite as comfortably, although they're probably max Fizz-Death, so they'd be fine. It also means they would die to Bolt Strike, which locking into Bolt Strike this game looks super comfortable. Bax doesn't love coming in. That thing getting paired is not good at all. So, yeah, being able to put this thing in range of Bolt Strike and not have to lock V-Create could be nice. This lets them bring in Bax. And at this point in the game, I think, okay, really, really free Earthquake from my opponent. Hold on. Spoilers. I teared my Sinistra, which means I've lost my only ground resist. I brought Air Balloon Glim last time, but I did not this time. So I have no ground resist, actually. Earthquake is going to just do a KO every Pokemon on my team, except for Sinistra, it's a roll. If they're Jolly, Earthquake shouldn't do a KO me, and I can click Terra Blast Steel, which does alright damage into everything. Obviously not great into Annihilate, if it's with F. And Gren does not a huge amount of damage, but any hit on damage, any hit on Gren really, is going to put them in range of Vacuum Wave, which is great. And then if they go Corv, I can just Shadow Ball the next turn. So I go Sinistra here. I thought a lot about going into Val and taking the Earthquake, because I didn't think they can DD this turn. So if I go Val, take the Earthquake, and then I can click Moonblast, it's not bad for me, but if there's Spadef Clef, then they just live 2 and get soft boiled up. It's not great for me. So I go Sinistra on Earthquake. I can comfortably take 2. Never mind. The choice band. Good to know. I don't have a switch in. I pretty much just have to sack Sinistra here. Earthquake, like, almost OHKOs my entire team. So I have to play very carefully around this Bax. Although Sinistra is one of the few Pokemon that it can actually come in and click Earthquake against. They won't kill Samurai, I'll do a lot of damage. They could be slower than Glim, depending on the set. And then Iron Treads and Val are both faster and threaten a lot of damage. So I think its entry points are going to be limited, but very tough losing Sinistra this early. But they actually switch. They respect an Air Balloon in the back, which I think is reasonable. From my opponent's perspective, I brought the exact same team as last time. So they could expect Glamora to be Air Balloon. But I'm not. I just click Shadow Ball this turn. I didn't click Terra Blast Steel because I figured in the off case they switch, I'd rather Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball puts them in range of uh, V-Create anyways. So if I Shadow Balled as they DD'd, that's fine. I can Tear Blast till the next turn to threaten the Yoko, and if they kill me, I can just go Victini. So I just Shadow Ball and hit Corv. Great. Tells me it's not Split F for sure, which I already knew, but now we know for sure. I just click Shadow Ball again. I'm not going to go Victini on this U-turn play again. If they want to spam Roost, I'm kind of okay with that. I know their pressure, so I can get a Split F drop. And I could potentially Calm Mind on them, but probably not. I just Shadow Ball again. As the U-turn out, fantastic. I can now lock into Bull Strike really comfortably. They can no longer switch it on Samurott, they get 2 KO'd. Iron Treads still is kind of walled by this thing. Volt Switch is like 20%, so Iron Hit into Volt Switch doesn't kill. But now they're in range of Glim, which is great. I no longer have to Meteor Beam into them, they can just add a Power Gem. In comes Gren. I am just going to go into my Samurott. I want to save my sack if I can. They just look Surf, fantastic. Does a lot of damage. They end up being Life Orb. I didn't think they could afford to click U-turn that turn, which is why I came into Samurott. I live Grass Knot, so I feel very comfortable just clicking Flip Turn. I don't think they are going to stay in when they have a very comfortable Clef in the back. But they actually go backs, which that damage doesn't matter quite yet, but if they make that play again, they're putting themselves in range of V-Create, and also slowly getting in range of Vacuum Wave as well. So they go backs. I go Glim, because I saw that flip turn damage. I thought, okay, that did not do enough damage. They're max HP, which means my Glimora is faster, and I can just get off a really free Meteor Beam. The only reason I didn't bring in Val here, because I know this is choice band. Moonblast looks so free into the team, pretty much a guaranteed kill. Corv dies to Thunderbolt after it actually just dies to 2 Moonblasts. But if they're Spit F Clef, I do like 40%, and then they can just Moonblast and kill me. Which, granted, that would leave Clef really low, but I didn't think that was the play I wanted to make. I can go Glimora and throw off a Meteor Beam, which is much better. Clef is not a safe switch in at all. I could have Poison move. So it's kind of either sack backs, sack Corv, or go into Annihilate and take a lot of damage. And any of those outcomes I think are quite good for me. They actually go Annihilate. I thought about not clicking Meteor Beam this turn and saving it, but Power Gem actually doesn't kill max HP backs. So I felt the need to click Meteor Beam. And of course, I miss. But it turned out that didn't really matter, and if anything, it was good for me. Had I hit that, they would have been in range of Dazzling Gleam, and assuming they're an offensive set. If not, they would have lived comfortably, but it meant that they didn't Terra. I Dazzling Gleam, do a lot of damage, they end up being offensive. I thought I might just be sacking Glimora here to an Earthquake from Annihilate. But I did not expect it to be faster. I Dazzling Gleam. My speed on Glimora is that at +2 I'm faster than Scarf Gren. Dazzling Gleam does a lot of damage and end up bulking up. Incredible position for me. I can just Power Gem here for the kill in case they want to switch. Power Gem does most damage to everything. Except for Gren, I guess, but Gren's not coming in. Power Gem kills. In comes Gren. I can just go into my Samurott. I see no reason to sack this Glimora, especially knowing that it's faster than Baxcalibur. I'm able to force a lot of damage on it. Yeah, it's also just like a nice switch into Clef and Corv. They click Surf. I get my Citrus Berry. I am out of range of Grass Knot. Actually, Grass Knot does like 70% absolute max. So I think an absolute max roll would kill me, but other than that, I'm good. I click Ceaseless Edge this turn, because I figured, okay, Core's now very low. It can't switch into me. I'll just kill it with the next move, which means I'm keeping my spike up. If they go Clef, I'm kind of okay with that as well. It just lets me go back into Glimora. They Grass Knot. I live, and they die to Ceaseless Edge. Crit. I haven't calced that, but I'm pretty sure that didn't matter. If it did, then they die to Life Orb the next turn. I do have a fair bit of attack on the Samurott still. In comes Clef. I have no reason to sack this. Keeping Sucker Punch in the back could be really nice for backs. Knowing that it's choice band, I get a guaranteed hit on that. and then Aerodactyl having extra priority for that, because Aerodactyl is really the only way my opponent's winning this game, unless there's some kind of Cosmic Power Clef. I think that's the only two ways I see the game being lost. Seeing as this is U-turn Corv, I don't imagine it's going to be setting up at all. And then Bandit Backs is a great breaker, but it's never going to beat Glamora, Victini, and Iron Valiant, all of them being faster, and all of them basically killing after this next spike. I flip turn out. If they were for some reason a choice Scarf Clefable, I can take a lot of advantage of that. Assuming they click Moonblast or Fire move, I can go Victini. If they click Electric move, I can go Iron Treads. Really comfortable. I go Sinistcha. I don't need this Pokemon at all this game anymore. I've lost my Shuckle Berry. I died to Arrow. I died to Bax. It's kind of nice for Corv, I guess, but I can just take the Moonblast. And then throw off a big Terra Blast Steel. That not dropping was incredibly important for me. If that dropped, my Terra Blast would have been able to be recovered off, but they could not do that. In comes Glamora. I don't know if this is necessarily the most optimal play. In my head, I thought, okay, I can Rock Polish and just win the game. A, I don't kill Aerodactyl with Power Gem. B, they could Thunder Wave or Encore or Heal, all of which would make it so I can't kill them the next turn. They actually ended up being, I forget, but they weren't Max F because that Terra Blast did way too much damage. So I just actually Power Gem, which lets them bring an Arrow. Pretty much the only thing they could have done. The other two just died of Power Gem. I think Bax dies to Power Gem after Spike. And at this point in the game, I'm thinking, okay, I can switch. But why would I do that? I don't want to let this thing set up. If I Power Gem as they DD, puts them in range of Vacuum Wave and Sucker Punch. If they just kill me, that's totally fine. I can just go into Victini, click Bolt Strike, die, and then they die to Vacuum Wave, and then Life Orb Val just cleans up the last two. So as long as I can put this thing in range of Vacuum Wave, I'm winning the game. Bax and Corv just get cleaned up. They click Hone Claws. I Power Gem, does a lot of damage but doesn't kill. Totally fine. They're in range of Vacuum Wave. The win has been sealed. Just kidding. They have Roost. So now I'm thinking, okay, they're slowly gaining health. They are now somewhat in range of Vacuum Wave. They should die, but if they have a lot of bulk, they would actually live. Or it would be a roll at least. If they're max HP, I think it's in my favor to kill, but not guaranteed. So at this point in the game, I go hard into Victini. If they kill me with Earthquake, that's fine. I go Val, and I usually kill with Vacuum Wave, or I can go Treads, live the Earthquake, and Iron Head to kill them. So I go hard into Victini. I can Encore them if I want to, but they Roost, so I can actually just Bolt Strike. Had they killed me here, they would have been low and died to Vacuum Wave, or Treads could have lived and just Iron Headed. I Bolt Strike and they die. They actually ended up being Aqua Tail and Dual Wing Beat as their last moves, which was bad into Sinistcha, but incredible into the rest of my team. So that could have definitely gotten out of hand. If they killed me and they get like a high roll on Iron Treads and killed with Aqua Tail, and Vacuum Wave didn't kill, I'm in a really bad spot. I would have to click Sucker Punch and they could click Roost. It put me in a really awkward spot. But it's alright. They go back, I can just sack Samurott and then clean up the game with Iron Val. Something I forgot to mention about this game is if I lost, since I'm on the winner's side, I would still have a chance. Frozone would have to beat me twice to win Grands, whereas I would only have to win once, because he's on loser's side and I was on winner's side. So we end up winning. Didn't have to take that second try. Anyways, really happy with the team I brought. Samurott living that Grass Knot was fantastic. A couple higher rolls from those Surfs with that Grass Knot, and I could have died and not killed Gren. The Meteor Beam miss didn't really matter, but if they were some kind of Spadef Annihilate, I think it would have mattered more, because I didn't get any information. Iron Treads didn't do anything, but it was Shuckle Berry in the back, very similar set. Didn't get up rocks. There being a Corv just made it a little harder for Iron Treads to do anything this game, but still a worthwhile addition to the team, I think. Life Orb Val was fantastic. Really bread and butter set, but it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same Sinister set did fine. Victini was definitely helpful in the end game, seeing as they were not Dragon Dance Aerodactyl. It was going to be very good at revenge killing it. As long as I could keep it below 75% or so. V-Create was always going to revenge kill it. And now that I say that, actually, I'm wondering if going hard into Victini is a lose con. Because if I just spam Power Gem forever in front of this roosting Aerodactyl, I will always keep this at 60% because I'm doing 40% as they roost. So this thing will always be in range of Bolt Strike. I didn't recognize that in the moment. I actually didn't recognize that until now. So this whole thing where I'm saying, oh, if they click Aqua Tail and kill Victini and then Vacuum Wave doesn't kill, that puts me in a really awkward spot. I can just keep spamming Power Gem. There's no downside to this. If they kill me, I guess there's no amount of Home Claws that can win them this game. Unless they were also Dragon Dance. And then they would have to be one attack. Earthquake could have been that only attack, but they would need +2, I think +3. +3 Earthquake to kill my treads. So I think the right play was actually just to keep clicking Power Gem. There's no reason not to. They would eventually have to kill me. And then I could just revenge kill with Victini. That does rely on me hitting Bolt Strike, but I also just had to in this scenario. So yeah, I think that was a slight misplay. Really the only misplay of the game, I think. Otherwise, I think I played pretty well. Maybe I didn't have to revenge kill the 4% Fable with Glamora, but it worked out fine. Yeah, so we win. Very nice. Obviously the prize money is nice, but also really just glad to have another cup in such a competitive league. GG's to all my opponents over the season. I guess we'll take a look at that actually. Let me zoom us in. How do we look? Yeah, that'll do. Alright. Here's the team. 15 kills on Val, pretty nice. 10 kills on Sinistra, also pretty good. Overall, very happy with the team. Pangoro came to a game and didn't do anything really. Avalik died. I forgot I even had Pangoro, to be honest. Or Avalik not died, didn't do anything. I did plan on bringing Avalik to the Spoods rematch in Grand Finals if that happened. And then to Dunsparce and Weezing got dropped after week 1 to pick up Glamora. And some low tier guys. To Dunsparce was really nice in week 1. I got crit turn 1, which is not ideal, but it's a Pokemon I want to try. I think it's a little underrated in its utility. Stealth Rocks and Glare is incredible. It's impossible to OHKO, even harder to KO at times. You need a choice item. Terra Sinistra felt lackluster. I got 10 kills, which is a surprise to me. If you asked me how many kills this thing got, I'd say like 4. But it turns out it did quite well. It died most games, but got some kills in return. I think this is one of the best teams I've drafted. Maybe not the best, but certainly good. Not my best performing season at all. 3 losses, which isn't bad, but differential was terrible until playoffs, even until semifinals. So that week 8 game really mattered, and it was a really close game. One of my most emotional victories in draft for sure. Winning that game felt great. Dare I say, better than winning Grand Finals here. That's the season. A lot of new Pokemon for me. I've never used Iron Val, Victini, Latias, Sinistra, Jolteon, Pangoro, or Avalik, or Dunsparce, or Weezing. Only Iron Treads, Samurai, and Glamora were repeats. I've actually never won a league with either of them, or if with any of them, Iron Treads, Samu, or Glim. So all new cup recipients for me. Um, really happy with it. Thank you, Funch, of course, for hosting this all. It's always a blast. I'll certainly be back next season if I get the invite. But surely the reigning champ comes back, right? GG's again, Frozone. Always great playing you. Finally, up by one in the win loss, I think. Um, some good differential too, not bad. Um, yeah, really happy with my playoffs run with this team. I think it was very solid. I don't. My luck game was obviously closer in differential, but every game felt like a comfortable win, which helps offset the regular season, which was a lot of close games and a lot of tough losses, especially week 4 and week 5. Bad differential and getting swept, which not ideal, of course. And then almost got 6-0'd week 7 against Angry Leprechaun, which I've not been 6-0'd yet, so still holding out hope for that. I guess we'll look at this too while we're here. 6 cups now. I'm actually in a finals game later on this week, so could be. Did I not title one of? Hold on, I never titled this. SPDA Showdown Master Ball Season 3. Whoops. Anyways, yeah, that was the finals game I just lost recently. Oh well. Yeah, 6 cups now. Not bad. Could be 7. Insert hand motion by the end of the week. It's a game with Spectre. See how that goes. I've been recording for long enough, probably, right? Yeah, we can end it here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks again, everyone involved in DDL. Certainly a community I'm glad to be a part of. And until next time, bye-bye.